me again, fellas. This is not going to be like a full video podcast. The main reason I'm doing this video podcast, although I am going to touch on a couple things. I got to touch on a couple things. But the main thing I want to tell you, you know, I don't have the capabilities yet to do quality live streaming, even though I ultimately want to do live streaming. But speaking of live streaming, O'Shea Duke Jackson, who's the editor-in-chief of the Negro Manosphere, a website I write freelance articles for, he's going to be interviewing me today, Thursday, live at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, which is New York City time. 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So in the United States, that would be 2 o'clock p.m. Chicago time, which is Central Time. That would be 1 o'clock p.m. Denver time, which is Mountain Time. And finally, that would be 12 noon Pacific Time, Los Angeles time. So O'Shea Duke Jackson, I'll put the link once I know the link. I don't know the link right now, but as soon as I do, I'll put the link below in the comment section. And yeah, so if you want to join the chat room and ask O'Shea some questions to ask me, feel free to do so. But yeah, O'Shea Duke Jackson, he's going to be, I think the interview is going to last about 90 minutes to 2 hours. 90 minutes to 2 hours. So again, I will put the link below if you want to ask me some questions during the live stream. Now, you know I just did a video yesterday. And as with any video I do, you know I get feedback, both positive and negative. So I'm going to do two quick things, and this is not going to be a long video podcast because I mainly just want to come on air and announce that I'm going to do a live stream. But some guys have, one podcast host has already done his quote-unquote rebuttal. He tried to imply that yours truly is broke. I didn't know if you could pay for your rent or mortgage, pay a car note, pay all your bills, that you're broke. That's something new to me. Here's the thing about tricking, though. I had a lot of guys ask me basically along the lines, Alan, why are you so hard on guys who tricking? Sometimes tricking is more time efficient than not tricking. Here's the thing about tricking. First of all, I'm going to post an article that I wrote for the Negro Manosphere. Right? Some of y'all, I'm getting the impression, don't know what tricking is. Tricking, number one, first and foremost, tricking is illegal. I was just doing a Skype consultation with a client, and I had to point that out to him, and I don't even think he realized that. Tricking is illegal. Why would I ever endorse behavior that's illegal? No, true tricking is illegal. Tricking is when you offer a woman money specifically and directly in exchange for sex. That's tricking. See, this is what people don't understand. Like, I can tell by some people's responses, they think anytime you spend money on a woman, period, that's tricking. No, that's not tricking. For example, if you're a woman's husband and say you're the breadwinner in the family, you pay the mortgage, you pay all the utility bills, and you basically let your wife live with you for free and you don't obligate her to pay any of the bills, that's not really tricking. That's not tricking. That's being a financial provider for your wife. Same if you cohabitating with a woman and that's just your girlfriend, and you paying all the bills associated with your house, you paying the mortgage for your house, you paying the utility bills, it just so happened you letting your romantic companion or girlfriend live with you. That's not tricking. So I know some guys had comments suggesting that I'm criticizing the idea of just spending money on women, period. No. If you're a woman's husband, you're a woman's fiance, you're a woman's long-term boyfriend, I don't have a problem with you financially supporting your wife, your fiance, or long-term girlfriend if that's what you choose to do. That doesn't fall in the category of tricking. And again, read my article where I separate the different categories of spending money on women. Tricking is specifically when you are looking to hire a woman that's a street prostitute, a woman that's a professional call girl, or a woman that's an upscale erotic escort, or really any woman that you're offering them money specifically and directly in exchange for a sexual act. For example, if you're walking down the street and you went up to a woman and say, hey, I'll pay you $75 if you suck my dick, that's illegal. I don't know if you guys realize that. With the exception of the state of Nevada, that is illegal. That's called solicitation of prostitution. You cannot approach a woman and say, if I give you $100, you got to let me fuck you. That's solicitation of prostitution, man. The informal term for that is tricking. The formal term is solicitation of prostitution. You cannot ever, again, unless you're in certain counties in the state of Nevada, I can't speak for other countries. I don't know. I can't remember which countries where it's legal and illegal. But here in the United States, the only state where soliciting a woman for sexual acts is legal is the state of Nevada. Everywhere else, man, that shit's illegal, man. If you offer a woman money directly in exchange for her performing oral sex with you, on you, her engaging in intercourse with you, her agreeing to have anal sex, that's illegal, man. That's illegal. Why the fuck am I going to endorse something that's illegal just because everybody does it? Now, there's a lot of guys who still do it despite the fact that it's illegal. Just like there's people who still smoke marijuana even though that's not legal. Or people snort cocaine even though that's not legal. And there's a lot of other shit that people do that's illegal. They still do it. So there's definitely a lot of guys that engage in tricking despite the fact that it's illegal. But the fact of the matter remains, tricking is illegal. Tricking is illegal. That's first and foremost. So anybody who publicly endorses tricking, you are endorsing an illegal activity. That's what you're doing. You're endorsing an illegal activity. That's illegal, man. Now, a similar question I get along that, well, Alan, how come, and I did a whole show on Blog Talk Radio about this. Some people ask, well, how come sugar daddies are able to get away? How come being a woman's sugar daddy is not considered a form of prostitution? Good question. And I had an episode where I addressed this on Blog Talk Radio when I did my Blog Talk Radio show. See, here's what sugar daddies do that's different from a trick. What sugar daddies do, if they have a woman that's a sugar baby, they pay women money for their non-sexual companionship, which is legal. You can offer to pay a woman for her non-sexual companionship. That's what sugar daddies do. They offer to spend money on a woman in exchange for her non-sexual companionship. And then what they do is they consider it that it's an unwritten expectation that the woman is going to reward them for paying her bills or a portion of her bills with her sexual companionship. So they expect their sugar babies to give them their sexual companionship for free. But that said, no sugar baby is obligated to give a man access to her sexual companionship. And that's why the sugar daddy, sugar baby relationship can be tricky at times. Because no sugar baby can guarantee a sugar daddy that she's going to allow him to have sex with her. Because if she does, she automatically becomes a prostitute, which is illegal. So sugar daddies don't pay for a woman's sexual companionship. They pay for a woman's non-sexual companionship with the subtle and unwritten expectation that they'll also gain access to that woman's sexual companionship. But again, that's not guaranteed. They can't force a woman to obligate them access to that woman's sexual companionship, because again, then that would make a sugar baby become a prostitute or a call girl or an erotic escort, which is illegal. Matter of fact, technically, that's what most upscale erotic escorts do to protect themselves from going to jail. Most upscale erotic escorts, what they do is they don't charge you, at least not on paper, they don't charge you for sex. What they do is they charge a man for their non-sexual companionship, and then they operate with the kind of underlying expectation that they're going to give you some pussy too. But they don't specifically say, like, if you look at most top-notch, like what's known as upscale erotic escorts, they will not advertise, I'll have sex with you for this price. They don't do that. They won't say, like, I'll give you a blowjob for $200 or I'll let you fuck me for $800. They don't do that, because then they could go to jail. What they do is they offer their non-sexual companionship for a price. And then the underlying expectation is that they're going to also allow you to have sex with them. That's how they circumvent the prostitution laws. But so, all that to say that, man, as far as tricking, true tricking, number one, is when you offering a woman money specifically and directly for her sexual companionship. And that, my friends, is illegal. That is illegal. And if you want to doubt me on that, check your local laws, your county laws, and your state laws if you live in the United States, if you think I'm bullshitting you. Check your local laws, your county laws, and your state laws. You cannot proposition a woman for sexual companionship. That is illegal. That is solicitation of prostitution, what is known in the streets as tricking. Tricking is illegal, and that, among other reasons, is why I don't endorse it. It's illegal, man. That's illegal. There's some countries, in some cities in certain countries, where prostitution is legal. Like Amsterdam, I was mentioning Amsterdam in my last video. In Amsterdam, prostitution is actually legal. It's government regulated in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. So it's not considered illegal. And again, here in the United States, most counties in the state of Nevada, solicitation for prostitution is actually legal. So I want to say Las Vegas. You can go to Las Vegas and you can proposition a woman for sex and without risking going to jail or being fined. But in most states in the country, that's illegal, man. So keep that in mind. True tricking is illegal. And one more quick note on tricking. This podcast host, the one who I call the Grim Reaper, he tried to say that men who get sex for free are jealous of men who have to pay for it. That don't even make sense. That don't even make sense. Like, if I can go to a Subway sandwich store and flirt with the cashier and get her to fix me a sandwich for free, why would I be jealous of another guy who comes in that same Subway store and has to pay for that sandwich? Why would I be jealous or envious of that guy who has to pay for the same sandwich that I'm getting for free? That don't even make sense. Why would I be jealous or envious of guys who are paying for something that I'm getting for free? For example, I told y'all a story of this woman when I lived in Los Angeles. I used to fuck. Her fiance was making like $900,000 a year, if not a little more. He had to buy her a Porsche 911 to get in her pants. I was fucking this same beautiful Caucasian blonde for free. Why would I be jealous or envious of her fiance who had to buy her a car to get in the pants when I got in her pants for free? That don't even make sense. That literally doesn't even make sense. Now, one thing, the Grim Reaper, I listened to his podcast. He says at least one thing I actually agree with. He said that in most cases, when it comes to marriage or long-term romantic relationships, it's inevitable that you got to spend money on women, and it's inevitable that you got to have some degree of financial resources and material possessions. I say that in my own book, Debate About Revolution. I say that. When it comes to marriage and long-term relationships, that is the number one thing that most women emphasize. I ain't going to say all women, but most women. Most women do emphasize the idea of a man's level of financial stability, financial self-sufficiency, mainly in relation to kids, either if they already have kids or the possibility of them having kids. Not too many women are going to hook up with a motherfucker that's just broke if they plan on having kids with that guy. Although I have to say, I know a lot of men, close friends of mine included, I know men whose wives make way more money than they do. Matter of fact, I know a fellow dating coach. I ain't going to say his name, but most people know who I'm talking about. Lives in Texas. There's a dating coach who lives in Texas. His wife makes about 4 to 5 times as much money as he does. She makes like almost like, I hate to tell their personal business, but she makes like almost like $500,000 a year. He only makes maybe like 1/5 of that. So there, and then got some other male friends that their wives make, like my own brother, to tell his business. When he first hooked up with his now wife, he makes more money than his now wife now, but when he very first hooked up with her, she was making more money than him. Yeah, she was making about 1.5 times more money than he was. So I wouldn't say that all women look for guys who make more money than them. That's not true. I would probably arguably say most women do, but not all women. I know some guys whose wives or girlfriends, like I've dated a lot of women who made more money than me. Matter of fact, I would say, probably 4 out of every 5 women I've dated in my life made more money than I did. I've only dated like 2 or 3 women that made less money than me. Most of the women I've dated long term in my life were women who made more money than me. So, but that aside, I would generally agree that most women do put more emphasis on a man's finances for long-term relationships. When I was talking about spending money on women and tricking and all that shit, I was mainly referring to casual sex. Tricking is when you're spending money on women for casual sex. That's tricking. Again, if you're spending money on a woman that's your wife, fiance, or long-term girlfriend, that's not tricking. That's not considered tricking. Tricking is when you're spending money on women for like a one-night stand or a weekend fling or some other variation of casual sex. That's tricking, man. I ain't down with tricking unless you're traveling, and usually out of the country. That's the only time I halfway condone tricking, is when you traveling outside of the country. Final thing, and I'm already going longer than I want to. Here's a criticism that I've been getting ever since no later than early to mid-June, and I still continue to get this criticism. And it both amuses me, but I will openly say it a lot of times agitates me. A lot of guys keep coming out with this criticism that, Alan, you've changed since you got on YouTube. You're different than you were when you were on Blog Talk Radio, or you're different than you are in your audiobooks. I dare anybody to present specific concrete evidence of these charges. And I've done this before, and nobody has yet to do it. I dare anybody listening to me right now, I dare you to provide me with specific evidence. Like, I read a comment today, I don't know if it was in my comment section or somebody else's comment section, where they said, a guy said, I used to have a lot of respect for Alan Roger Currie. I actually own like 2 or 3 of his audiobooks, but his YouTube videos have turned me off because he says a lot of things on YouTube that make him seem like a totally different person than in his audiobooks and on his Blog Talk Radio show. Please prove that to me. Please prove that to me with something specific. Prove that to me. Prove to me how I'm different on YouTube than how I was on Blog Talk Radio. And along with that, prove to me that I say stuff here on YouTube that contradicts stuff I say in my audiobooks. Please, I'm begging you to prove that to me. Prove that to me. Because a lot of you guys have said this shit, man. Again, I've been getting these type of criticisms ever since about early to mid-June up until now, where guys have accused me of being different. Or they say stuff like, Alan has changed. He's not the same guy he was like last year or the year before, or when he was on Blog Talk Radio, or he's not the same guy. I'm going to tell you what it is. Y'all not used to seeing my face. That's what it really comes down to. There's a difference between just listening to someone's voice and watching someone's face while they're talking about the stuff they talk about. So in my speculation, that's what's tripping a lot of you motherfuckers out, is that a lot of you motherfuckers who listen to me on Blog Talk Radio for 9 years, y'all never saw my face. Y'all never saw me on video. Same with my audiobooks. You never saw me on video. And that's why it seems like I'm a different person, because you seeing my facial expressions and you seeing me visually for the first time. But I'm gonna address 3 charges, and then I'm gonna wrap up this what's supposed to be brief podcast. Number 1, under the category of Alan has changed. I've heard some people say Alan is more braggadocious than he was on Blog Talk Radio and or in his audiobooks. Alan, he brags on himself and does a lot of boasting about his sexual conquest more on YouTube than he did on Blog Talk Radio and or in his audiobooks. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Dude, I did a lot of bragging on Blog Talk Radio, and I dare anybody to say I didn't. I had a lot of episodes on Blog Talk Radio, whether it was a show where I was interviewing someone or an episode where I did what's called an open forum discussion. I did a lot of bragging on my sexual conquest when I was on Blog Talk Radio, and I do a certain degree in my audiobooks. Probably the number 1 audiobook I would say I do some degree of bragging and boasting is my audiobook, Ooh, Say It Again. Ooh, Say It Again? Shit. I dare anybody to say I don't do some degree of bragging and boasting in that audiobook, if no other audiobook. Shit, the hell I don't. Ooh, Say It Again? Shit, I would say half of that audiobook is me bragging on my verbal seduction skills and my erotic dirty talk skills. So I don't see how anybody can say I do more bragging here on YouTube than I do in my audiobooks. And I definitely don't see how anybody can say I do more bragging on YouTube than I did on Blog Talk Radio. I did a hell of a lot of bragging on myself and tooting up my own horn on Blog Talk Radio. So that's bullshit. Second thing under that category of Alan has changed. Guys say Alan is more hard on men now than he was before. He's always criticizing guys for whining and complaining about women. He never used to be like that before. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Go back to as far back as my 1998, 1999 version of Mo 1. I guarantee you, if you read chapter 8 in my you're talking about what, 18 years ago. My 1999 version of Mo 1 in chapter 8, I specifically say in chapter 8 of that book, I say whining and complaining about aspects of women's behavior that you dislike or that agitates you is a waste of fucking time. I say that in my 1999 version of Mo 1. I say complaining about aspects of women's behavior that you don't like or that get on your nerves is an unproductive waste of time. And number 2, I said it makes you look like a loser. It makes you look like a whiny bitch. I said that 18 years ago in my Mo 1 book. I said it makes you look like a whiny loser when you always complaining about what you don't like about women. So I was saying the same thing I say here on YouTube now. I was saying that shit 18 years ago in my Mo 1 book. So for all of you who think I didn't start criticizing guys for being whiners and complainers until I got on YouTube, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. Even in my 2006, if you read my 2006 version of Mo 1, my first paperback version, in chapter 8, I also say that. It's a little modified and a little briefer, but I say the same thing in chapter 8 of my 2006 version of Mo 1. I say never concern yourself with what you dislike about women. Only concern yourself with two things: how you choose to behave towards women and how you choose to allow women to behave towards you. That's the only thing you should ever concentrate on when it comes to dealing with women, is how you choose to behave towards women and how you choose to allow women to behave towards you. Anything beyond those two things, man, is nothing but whining and bitching. Nothing but whining and bitching. Final thing under the category of Alan has changed. What was the first? The first one was that I'm more braggadocious since I've been on YouTube. The second thing is that I'm harder on men and I criticize men more. Oh, the third thing is that some men, this is more of a lighthearted thing, but a lot of men say, Alan, man, you seem more emotional in a lot of your video podcasts than you did on Blog Talk Radio and or your audiobooks. I can't even agree with that 100%. Now, if you're comparing me to how I sound on my audiobooks, yeah, I would partially agree with you. There's 2 or 3 parts in certain audiobooks where I get emotional. Like if you listen to the very last chapter of my Mo 1 audiobook, I call it more so passionate than emotional. In my last chapter of my Mo 1 audiobook, I get very passionate. I got real passionate. That's probably my most passionate chapter of any single chapter of any of my audiobooks. But like in Ooh Say It Again, nah, there's not really a chapter in there when I get really particularly, oh yes it is, I take that back. Now the one chapter I get kind of somewhat emotional in my audiobook in Ooh Say It Again is when I'm talking about men's sexual hypocrisy. Yeah, I get fired up in that chapter when I'm calling out men on being sexual hypocrites. So that's the one chapter in Ooh Say It Again where I get emotional. Possibility of Sex, there's at least 1 or 2 chapters where I get semi-emotional. Beta Male Revolution, I can't think of a chapter in the Beta Male Revolution. No, I can't think of any chapter in that audiobook. So yeah, there's at least 3 of my 4 audiobooks where I have at least 1 chapter in each of those 3 audiobooks where I get somewhat emotional, or what I would like to say, passionate. Now, if you compare me to Blog Talk Radio, you definitely full of shit. Shit. I've had Blog Talk Radio episodes where I went the fuck off on people. Again, see, y'all didn't see me on video, so it probably didn't have the same effect. But there was quite a few Blog Talk Radio episodes where I went the fuck off on people. So I dare anybody to say I didn't get emotional and or passionate on Blog Talk Radio like I do here on YouTube. That's bullshit. So anyway, again, I challenge you to prove with specific evidence how Alan Roger Currie has changed since he's come on YouTube, how he's supposedly different from his Blog Talk Radio days, or significantly, or that he contradicts. Like one person said that I tend to contradict shit on my YouTube podcast that's in my audiobooks. Name something I've contradicted myself on. Please do. I'm begging you to. Name one thing that I've said in my audiobooks that in my YouTube videos I contradicted. Please share that with me in my comment section below. Check me out on O'Shea Duke Jackson Show at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Later. Peace. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to do mine. Bye, bye, bye. That's appropriate. Bye, bye. Bye, bye, bye.
Yes, sir.
Say it again.
Yes, sir.
Who's the king?
Alan, you're the king.
Say it again.
Alan, you're the king. You're dominating me.
Say it again.
Alan, you're dominating me right now. Mode 1.
Mode 1. let go, please. You're the king.
Say it again.
Oh, king. Oh, you're the fucking king. Yes. Yes. Yes.
You're the king, Alan.
AKA the king of verbal seduction. You know, it's the tone of your voice, how seductive your intonations are, the vibrations that you could just reach out over the phone lines and stroke a woman's breast just by the sound of your voice, how you could make her pussy so wet just by the sound of your voice. That's actually very hot.
So you said my show was what?
I said your show is powerful.
Oh, say it again.
Your show is powerful.
I bet the king would fuck me really good.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie. The king.
The king.
The king.